We were actually discussing about how the resistor, inductor, and capacitor is actually behaving for the different AC and DC sources which we are going to provide. Now we are getting into the actual topic of this video, which is nothing but the frequency response of passive component. We have discussed earlier that in case if I'm going to give an AC signal as an input for the capacitor, it will provide a capacitive reactance XC will be equal to 1 divided by omega C. Omega is nothing but 2 pi into F. So with this equation, we can clearly say that frequency plays a vital role in controlling the capacitive reactance of the capacitor, right? So Xc is nothing but the opposition which is offered by the capacitor, and inductive reactance I can define as XL, that is equal to omega L. And with this both equation, I can easily say that whenever the frequency value increases, the capacitive reactance value actually decreases, and the capacitor will behave as a short circuit. And in case of the inductor, when the frequency increases, the inductive reactance value actually increases, and the inductor will behave like an open circuit. But while talking about these terms of open and closed circuits, it is quite confusing, right? So let us actually discuss these terms in case of the numerical values for a capacitor and the frequency. Okay, so let me consider I'm going to use a huge capacitor value. Actually, I'm not going to use a huge capacitor value. I'm going to use a very small capacitor value, C, that is equal to 1 picofarad. So pico is actually a very small value, which is 10 to the power of minus 12. Okay, and the frequency value which I'm going to use is very small. So in that case, while we are dealing with the previous equation, when the frequency value is very small, the capacitive reactance value is huge, which means the opposition which is provided by the circuit will be huge. Okay, let us actually define it in the equation. Okay, so Xc will be equal to 1 divided by 2 pi into frequency value is 60 and capacitor value is 10 to the power of minus 12. If I make all the calculation, the value will be equal to 2.65 into 10 to the power of 9 ohm, which is approximately equal to 2.65 giga ohm. Like, assume of such a huge resistance value which is connected to the actual circuit. In case if I'm going to connect such a huge resistance value, actually no current will flow through the circuit, and the circuit will behave like an open circuit, right? So with this, we can come to a conclusion that if the frequency value is very small, then the capacitive reactance will value will be very huge, and the circuit will behave like an open circuit. If in case the frequency value is very huge, the capacitive reactance value will be very small, and the circuit will behave like a short circuit. Now let us discuss on the term of inductance. Okay, so if I consider the value of L is equal to 1 nanohenry and the frequency is equal to 60 hertz, XL will be equal to 2 pi into 60 into 10 to the power of minus 9, which will be equal to 3.77 into 10 to the power of minus 7 ohm. Think of a value which is 10 to the power of minus 7, which will be very small, right? I can approximate it to 0. Then I can say that it is an short circuit. So with this, I can come to a conclusion that if the inductance value is small and the frequency value is small, the circuit almost behaves like a short circuit. Okay, and when the frequency value is huge, and the inductive reactance will also be huge, and the inductor will behave like an open circuit. I hope you are actually clear about the case of open and short circuit, right? So since we are using wires all over everywhere, but in case of circuit theory which you might have been studied earlier, you might have thought the wire as an ideal conductor, which means it is a perfect conductor which has no resistance, right? But that is not the case in reality. In reality, every wire will be having a resistance to it, inductance to it, and capacitance to it. Whenever we are dealing with the DC resistance for an wire, uh, generally wire we consider it as an cylindrical conductor, right? So when I consider R DC, which is equal to L divided by pi into A square into sigma, where L is nothing but the length of the wire which I am going to use, A is nothing but the radius of the conductor, and sigma is nothing but the conductivity of the conductor, which defines how well the wire can conduct the uh, electric current which you are going to provide from one place to another. So, with this equation, it is predominantly evident that whenever the value of the L increases, which is length of the wire increases, then the resistance of the wire also increases. Whenever the area and conductivity of the values increases, the resistance value actually decreases. But whenever we are dealing with a higher frequency, we can say that the current actually spreads uniformly across the entire cross section area which we are going to use which we are going to discuss in the upcoming sections. Okay, so as we are going to deal with, since we have already discussed about the DC resistance of the wire, now it is our turn to discuss about the AC values, right? Okay, so, whenever an alternating current is flowing through a conductor, it will produce a magnetic field. Okay, whenever there is a magnetic field which is produced, it produces an induced current. So, according to Faraday's law, whenever there is an induced current which is produced, it will actually oppose the flow of actual current which is flowing in the conductor. So, maximum current will be pushed towards the outer surface of the conductor, so which we define it as the skin effect. Okay, so while we are talking about the skin effect, it states that very little amount of current will flow through the center of the conductor, and outer region actually conducts more of the current. Okay, and the skin depth, which will actually tell us the depth of the current which is penetrated through the conductor, which we denote it as del, which is equal to root of pi into f into nu into sigma, where nu is nothing but the permeability of the conductor and sigma is nothing but the conductivity of the conductor, and f is nothing but the frequency which I'm going to use. Okay, so when I simplify this equation of the skin effect, which is del, I can simply say it as the skin effect is nothing but the inverse of the frequency. So, whenever the frequency doubles, the skin depth decreases, and whenever the frequency becomes very high, current flows only in a very thin layer within the inner surface of the conductor. Okay, and we are dealing with the current which is inside the conductor and outside the conductor, so we must be actually aware of how much density is the current which is flowing through the entire cross sectional area of the conductor, right? So we define the current density as jz which is equal to p into I divided by 2 pi a into j1 into pa j0 into pr. This equation must be quite difficult for you. Okay, but no worries, let me explain it to you. The P is nothing but the propagation constant which is inside the conductor, which mainly depends on the permeability and the permittivity of the conductor, and also omega, which is nothing but the frequency. Okay, and I is nothing but the current which is actually flowing within the conductor. Okay, so we can also call it as the total AC current which is flowing within the wire. And we can also see that A is a term which is over there, which is nothing but the radius of the wire which we are going to use, which is which we are concentrating more on the outer boundary of the conductor. Okay, and we can also see there is a term which is called as J1PA and J0PR, right? Which is nothing but the zeroth order Bessel's function and the first order Bessel's function. We call J0 of PR as zeroth order Bessel's function and J1 of PA as first order Bessel's function. Okay, so why actually the Bessel's function come into consideration over here is whenever we take a cylindrical coordinate system and we start solving the Maxwell equation, the solution will naturally becomes a Bessel's function, which we can simply say it as if we are going with the rectangular geometries, we deal with the sine and cosine functions, right? Similarly, whenever we are dealing with the circular conductor, we generally go with the Bessel's function. Okay, but whenever we are going with higher approximation, I can say the current density Jz is directly proportional to exponential to the power of minus a minus r divided by delta. But since we are dealing with the effect of resistance in case of higher frequency, I can say it as the total resistance will be equal to resistant in case of DC condition cross-sectional area of the conductor divided by twice that of the skin effect, which is nothing but del. So we know that del is directly proportional to inverse of root of frequency. Therefore, the resistance at higher frequency will be directly proportional to root of frequencies. So whenever there is an increase in the frequency, the resistance value automatically increases. So that's all about the frequency response of the passive components.